executive director of Voices Raised LA, the founder as well. And Voices Raised LA is a grassroots collective for the LA area who wanted to come together to sing in political protests and demonstrations. And we've been doing that for 15 months. Obviously, with COVID, we can no longer do that right now, but we will be back. In the meantime, we're online. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Arnaé Batson.
Hey there, I'm Arnaé Batson of the SSING Network. And yes, we are back with a new social justice music video just in time for the upcoming 2020 election. Jan, let everybody know what we are introducing today.
We are introducing Arnaé Batson's original song called Remember in November. The voices you're hearing are vocalists from the Voices Raised Vocal Collective. And the video you'll be seeing is produced by Sharon Sakan.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! I'm so excited about this. We have been singing this song since May, June, but Jan, it was through your encouragement, your incredible assistance. You're bringing Sharon into our lives that we now have a Voices Raised video for the song Remember in November. And of course, we're talking about voting, and we have our own voting expert here in the house with us. Mashariki, raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand.
Hey, everybody, it's that time.
It's about that time.
Yes, and this is the most important type of voting that we've ever had in the history of our life in this country. And I'm very excited. I want to see everybody lined up, and I want to share some wonderful information for everybody who is interested in participating. And I hope it's everybody.
Fantastic, fantastic. Jan, you talked about how Voices Raised is out on the streets because of COVID. We have to be inside. So this is the 2020 version of protesting on the streets. We must really get into the importance of activism because people think folks are out, they're raising their voices at protest and nothing happens. I think you know otherwise.
Absolutely. This just got the sample ballot not long ago. And what was so exciting was going through all the measures. And it was incredible to see how many of the measures are a direct result from people who have been out in the streets protesting, activists who keep on pushing for these causes. And so it makes a huge difference to get out in the street and make demands. For instance, County Measure J is a measure where they'll take 10% of the general funds from the county and they're going to allocate them to make up for historic racial injustice. So they're going to fund community programs. They're going to fund alternatives for incarceration. They're going to fund small business loans for minority businesses. That's just one. That's Measure J. Then there's State Measure 16, which brings affirmative action back into play. So that state institutions, universities and state employers, they're allowed to select again on race and ethnicity and gender so that we can get a more diverse campus or a more diverse workplace. That's very important. We have State Measure 17, which restores voting rights to people who have done their time. If you've come out of prison, you've done your time, why shouldn't you have your voting rights restored? That's on the ballot. And finally, we have State Measure 25, which eliminates the catch bail system. And that has been a huge want for activists in prison reform now for years. So again, protests matter, but protests are only 50% of the equation. Protests with political participation is power and it's progress. And so after we go out in the streets, the other 50% of the equation is we go to the polls and we vote, because if they're on the ballot, but now we got to do our part and make sure they pass.
I love it. Okay, so are we ready for the video?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just about ready. Before we get to it, again, Sharon Sakan did a great job of producing it, but Arnaé, you selected all the images that we see in the video. And you have Rosa Parks, you have Harriet Tubman, which are recognizable figures. Every American, I think, knows who they are. You also selected a lot of people that, frankly, I don't know if anybody would know, or very, very few people. So can you talk about how you selected these images and why?
Sure. These are women who were at the forefront of the civil rights movement after Reconstruction. This was even before it was called the civil rights movement. It was for voting rights for Black Americans, which then extended to all naturalized American citizens, and also for women. These are women, the suffragettes. We see those 1900 turn of the century protests of women saying, we need to vote. We are citizens. We believe in the American promise of we all are created equal and we should all be able to prosper in this great country together. Their efforts made it possible for me to be home voting. So we honor them. We bless them. We thank them for pushing forward that promise. Some names people will know, but if you don't, Google is your friend. Google is your friend. And let's just bless them. Let's bless them for all the work they did. So, are we ready for the video?
Hey, I just want to say,
I got my popcorn. I got my little popcorn.
All Americans. All
Okay.
Americans.
All Americans. Okay.
Every figure in that video, all Americans owe them an incredible debt of gratitude.
Absolutely.
And I think at this point, I think we got, okay, everybody got the popcorn and we're ready to roll.
Okay. Cue the video.
Your vote is your voice. Anyone saying otherwise is attempting to squash your opinion, seal your lips, and steal your political power. As Americans, our vote is our superpower. If voting isn't your superpower, why would so many resources be wasted on tricking you into not flexing your rights? Don't fall for it. On Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, we must use our superpower to live our best now. We must honor those who fought so hard for us. We must consider our children and the world we are leaving them. Votes are voices raised and fists up in the air on behalf of all we hold dear. On Tuesday, November 3rd, don't throw away your shot. Use your vote and be heard. Remember, in November, we must vote like our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
November, we will remember. Oh, in November, we will remember. Oh, in November,
But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. Remember, in November. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. Remember, in November. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. Remember, in November. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it.
our lives are not a joke. Use your vote to fix what's broken. We'll remember. In November, our lives are not a joke. Use your vote to fix what's broken. We'll remember. In November.
But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. We vote, you in, we vote, we raise our voice, we vote, we make a choice, we raise our voice. We vote, you in, we vote, we raise our voice, we vote, we make a choice, we raise our voice. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. But our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. We are lives depend on it. Because our lives depend on it.
One, bring it back, y'all. Big vote. 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 We vote. 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 We vote. 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 We vote. 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 We vote. 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 Vote.
Look, our lives depend on it. Because our lives depend on it. Remember, in November, look like our lives depend on it. Because our lives depend on it. What we gonna do? We vote. Yeah. Oh, that was hot. Jan, tell us who the director was again.
Sharon Seacon. Sharon Seacon, thank you so much. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. Yeah.
Woo!
Man, that song.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And so this is something we can sing on our way to the polls. We can blast it at the polls. But just remember, the idea is just remember everything that's been going on these past 4 years. This is not normal, y'all. This ain't normal. So we're looking for at least a return to some sense of normalcy and a pushing forward of a lot of progressive ideas. Speaking of voting, our resident voting expert, Mashariki Ramey.
Hey.
Come forward. Okay, so Mashariki, tell us how long you have been working with the LA County Register's Recorder's Office.
Well, actually, it's been about 8 years now. I came in as a reservist, so I relieve people from breaks, but it's helped me to be able to run a poll station and learn a lot about what it takes to keep the voting fair and keep it moving, which is very important because voting never stops.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what can you tell us that in Los Angeles County today, on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, what do we need to know about voting in this 2020 election?
Well, the most important thing in LA County is that we actually have 11 days of voting. And the most important thing is the last day to vote by mail is on October the 19th. But the great thing in LA County is that the vote, you can still register to vote. You can actually go to the voter registrar's office. This is in Norwalk at 12400 Imperial Highway, in case you want to go there to either register to vote or to drop off your ballot, because that's another thing. Let me do a shout out to LeBron James. Because of him, we're going to have the Forum, we're going to have the Staples Center, and also Dodger Stadium as a point for people to come and vote. This is to make sure that everyone votes, and those 3 locations will be open the entire 11 days from October the 24th until the day of election, which is November the 3rd. There will also be other voting stations, and you can go to the lavote.net. That's the website for LA County that tells you where the voting centers are, where the different offices are, and everything that you need to know. I think that's the most important stuff. And if you pay attention to our We have a voter crawl at the bottom. It's giving all the information for you. So if you didn't catch what we're saying, this is additional information to help everyone to be able to register to vote, to check their registration because you could have been purged and not know it, and where you can drop off your ballot, and you can even turn in your ballot and vote in person. We have new in LA County, we have digital voting. So you go inside of a booth and it's like an iPad, and you actually get to see yourself voting. It prints out a ballot, so it's not all in the machine where you don't have a tracking for it. This will be the first major election that we've used it for. We tried it out in the primary, and that was in February.
Fantastic. So people can track their ballots. That's what you're
Yes, they
saying?
can. People can track their ballots in LA County. It's already built in. You can register online at lavote.net to follow what's called Where's My Ballot. But it's actually ballot tracks, because it's any state that wants to be a part of it can allow it to happen. California, we are allowing it to happen. And I've already been text to let me know that my ballot was sent to me. I should get it in 5 days. And then once I get it and I actually mail it or drop it off, it tracks it all the way to when the vote is actually counted. For people that are not secure with the voting systems in California, we have a really great way of tracking our votes.
Fantastic. Mashariki, thank you for your service to all of us, for being the expert that we can all call on and rely on. Wow. I'm ready. I got my voting plan in place. Jan, you got yours?
Hey, I got my voted sticker. You see? Yeah.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Remember,
but before we go,
for protest plus political participation equals power and progress.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Before we go, there's some people we need to thank. Of course, the Voices Raised singers. Thank you, Jan, for creating Voices Raised, for all of us to come together. You know, we're now online. You know, we've been in 2020 our thing. We want to thank Mashariki Ramey, also Aisha Mason, and Ken.
Yes, Ken.
Ken Thomas.
Don't kill me, Ken. It's the popcorn. The popcorn got stuck. The popcorn got stuck. My beloved Ken Thomas, for helping pull together all this voting information that you're seeing underneath. And who's our director again?
Sharon Slickham. But then we also have the producer today, who's been doing a marvelous job. So Arnaé, you want to give a shout out? Say the name again.
For El Segundo for Black Lives, y'all. So we are all in this together. And, you know, my takeaway from this is we've had 4 years of this experiment. We see that democracy really is an experiment. It's like a gentle person's agreement. And it is moving so far off the rails with a bully in charge. The best way to stop the bully, vote him out. Vote him out. Vote him out. Bam. So we're going to leave this with this prophetic saying that somebody wrote somewhere. Remember, in November, vote like our lives depend on it. Because our lives depend on it. Thank you all. Go vote.
Hey,
please
thank you, Jen. Thank you, Mashariki. Thank you, Tanya.
Please vote.
Thank you, Tanya Taylor.
Thank you.